Shalom and welcome to the Light to the Nations channel. Thank you for joining me in this new video. We will continue with the study of what is a day, when does it begin and end, according to the scriptures. If you have not watched yet the first part and the second part, I recommend you to do it before moving forward in this part of the study, because we are going step by step in order to have a clear understanding of the revelation from the scriptures about what is a day. I also want to thank you, all of you that have been sending me emails asking for information, also making some comments on the previous videos. I really thank you for all the support, all the kind words, and all the interest to listen the message and what I have to share with you. I feel very humble and thankful for Yahuwah giving me this opportunity, and also of you that are taking your time to listen and study these topics that are linear, quite important, and are critical for our understanding and our next steps in this wonderful way of Yahuwah. Like always, if after the presentation you have any question, just let me know. Send me an email to lightoeverynation@gmail.com. I do my best to answer as fast as possible each one of the emails. Sometimes take more time because the answer require more time to prepare. And other times I can send the answer very fast. So be patient. Send me your questions. I'll do my best. Believe me, I want to support you. I want to help you with everything I can. So in this third part of the video, we will continue, as I said, with the study of the day. We already covered in the previous videos the importance of the day, what are the time measurements according to the scriptures, or the different type of time measurements. We clarify what is a year, how many days it has, how many months are in a year, how many days are in a month, about the intercalary days according to the revelation of Hanoch. We also discovered that the basic time measurement according to the scriptures is the day and the year, and that's why it's so important to understand what is a day according to the scriptures, because without that understanding it's very difficult to understand prophecies. It's very difficult to understand when are the right times to keep the Moedims of Yahuwah, and it's going to be very hard to understand the calendar of Yahuwah as well. So this study is one of the building blocks to have a better understanding on all of this. We also covered the testimony of the Torah in the second video about what is a day. In the creation account, it's quite clear to understand from that part how Elohim separated the light from the darkness, and the light he called it day, and the darkness he called it night, and how we cannot join something that Elohim already separated in the same way that we cannot separate something he already joined. Also, we saw what are the signs and the luminaries, the thoughts that he created in the fourth day of the creation week, for us to see it in the Shamayim and understand that those are the otot that we will see in order to separate the day from the night. Okay, and we saw that the sun is the greater light that is going to rule during the day, giving us the understanding when the day starts and when ends, and that the moon and the stars are the luminaries to rule during night, so giving us the sign in the Shamayim to understand how the day and the night are separated. Also, we saw in the second video the testimony of Yahushua HaMashiach, how he gives us the understanding of a day being just the light time and the night being the dark time, and how the day has only 12 hours and not 24 hours that everybody believes in nowadays. Yeah, and again, I mentioned this in previous videos as well. We are going to get very soon to a point that we need to make a decision if we are going to believe what is written in the scriptures or we're going to believe myths and traditions and science. So I'm not saying that we don't need to believe traditions, myths, and science. What I'm saying that first thing we need to believe, and that's the decision we need to do at a personal level, is to believe what is written in the scripture first, and then receive the other. So we saw in the account of Yahushua about the 12 hours how himself explained to us through a parable in Matthew 20 what is a day, and why the day has 12 hours and how these 12 hours are divided between the day. And we saw that the day is starting in the morning and ending in the evening. And the sign, the thought in the Shemaim to do for this is the sun. So at the time that the sun is rising is when the day is beginning, and when the sun is setting is when the day is completed. So the last part we saw in the second video is that through that parable, the parable of the hiding servants in Matthew 20, we had an additional understanding about when work has to be done. And this is critical, believe me, critical, in order to understand when is the Shabbat day. Okay? So we're gonna resume from that part the study on this video. So let me share my screen with you and let's start. So we ended in this slide in the previous video when we saw that the day is from morning to evening, and the work that this servant did was from Boker to Erev, from morning to evening. So they were working only during the day. Okay, so the question here is quite important again. It's a key for the Shabbat day, when work is to be done. So we have the testimony of this parable in the Brit Hadashah, in the parable of Yahushua. But what other witnesses we have throughout the scriptures to confirm that the work is to be done from morning to evening? And again, Yahushua and the Torah, even Shaul mentioned it as well, teaches that in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, any matter or any truth needs to be established. So it's always important to find more than 1 or 2 witnesses. Okay, at least 2 we need to find. So let's take a look. So we have the second witness we have in Tehillim, Psalms 104, verse 20 to 23, and it says the following: "You put darkness, and its light lies night." Again, here we have an additional description that darkness is night. Okay, in it all the beasts of the forest creep. The young lions are roaring for prey and seeking their food from hell. The Shemesh, the sun, rises. So the day is starting. They withdraw, the animals withdraw, and lie down in their dens. Man goes out to his work and to his labor till Erev or evening. So this witness is quite clear that man goes to his labor since the sun arises in the morning until evening when the sun already set. Okay? So let's take a look in another one. This is Kohelet, Ecclesiastes, chapter 11, verse 6. It says the following: "Sow your seed in the Boker, morning, and until Erev evening do not let your hand rest, since you do not know which prosper, this or that, or whether both alike are good. So again, this is also quite clear. It says that we don't let our hand rest between morning or evening. So meaning that we should work between morning and evening. Again, second witness, third witness, together with the parable of Mashiach, that the work has to be done during the day, since morning till evening. Let's take a look in another one. This is Shofetim, Judges, chapter 19, verse 16. And it says the following. This is the story of the Levite and the concubine. It says, "But see, an old man came in from his work in the field at evening, who also was from the mountains of Ephraim, and he was sojourning in Givah, whereas the men of the place were Benjamins." So we see this old man coming from his work in the field. At what time? At evening. So he was working during the entire day, and his work was completed on evening. He was returning home. What else we have here? And this is a wonderful story. And this is Ruth, chapter 2, verse 7 and 17. And the whole scenario, and please read the entire chapter, because in order to have the whole context. The context here is that Ruth went to the fields to work during the harvest, the barley harvest, and it was at the beginning of barley harvest. And Boaz came, because it was his field where Ruth was working, and he was asking to his manager, who was that woman that was working with his servants. And the manager was explaining Boaz who was here and who was Ruth, and since when he was working there. And this is what he said, answering to Boaz. And the manager was saying what Ruth said in the verse 7. And she said, "Please let me glean and gather among the chips behind the reapers." And she came and has remained from Boker, morning, until now. She sat a little in the house. Okay, so Ruth came to the field in the morning and started to work in the morning. And the chapter 17, it says, "And she gleaned in the field until evening, and beat out that which she had gleaned, and it was about an ephah of barley." So Ruth came in the morning and started to work in the harvest of the barley, and she was working until evening. This is a tremendous witness again, that the work has to be done between morning to evening, between Boker and Erev. Okay? So please keep this in mind, because we will review it later when we talk about the Shabbat. It's very important. Okay? Again, work has to be done during the day. So, okay, what is a day? We already saw the witness of Torah. We already saw the witness of Mashiach. And also we saw, according to the scriptures, with several witnesses, when work has to be done. So let's add two more witnesses. And these witnesses, believe me, are very important, because are related directly with two important Moedim. Okay? So let's review it. The first one is related to Yom Kippurim, and we are going to do a complete analysis of this. And maybe you saw this presentation during a virtual house church, I think 2 weeks ago. And Yom Kippurim is the Day of Atonement. It's the Yom Kippur as well. It's known like that. So let's read it. This is in Vayikra, Leviticus, chapter 23, verse 27 and 28. And it says the following. On the 10th day, and please pay attention on what I highlighted, because those are the key aspects in order to understand what we will say. On the 10th day of the 7th Chodesh, the 7th month, is Yom Kippurim. It should be a set-apart gathering for you, a Mikra Kodesh. And you shall afflict your beings, and shall bring an offering made by fire to Yahuwah. And you do no work on that same day. This is key. We already saw when work has to be done, between morning and evening. For it is Yom Kippurim, to make atonement for you before Yahuwah your Elohim. It is a Shabbat of rest to you. Again, Shabbat and work. And when work has to be done in the day. And you shall afflict your beings on the 9th day of the Chodesh. What Chodesh? The 7th Chodesh. At evening. From evening to evening you observe your Shabbat. So, again, the instruction, the mitzvah here is quite clear regarding Yom Kippurim. We need to observe Yom Kippurim in the 10th day of the 7th Chodesh, and we need to do the starting on 9th in the evening, from evening to evening. Okay? So, before moving forward, just to make a comment about the video that I was telling you about the renewed understanding of the Yahuwah's Moedim. We see here that the whole concept, the whole focus of this Moedim, Yom Kippurim, it is written over here, to make atonement for you before Yahuwah Elohim, your Elohim. So the whole focus of the Moedim, again, is Israel. Israel is the one fulfilling this Moedim because they are gathering together to Yahuwah in order to make atonement before Yahuwah. And you know how all this whole feast, this whole Moedim is related, how the Kohen Hagadol was bringing the offering, and was the only moment in a year that he was able to go to the Kodesh HaKodeshim, the most holy place, to bring the blood of the sacrifice in order to make atonement for Israel for the forgiveness of all the sin of the nation. Okay? So we know that the Yahushua HaMashiach, he is our Kohen Hagadol, and he made the perfect sacrifice himself in the tree, in the cross. So again, just not to go in another direction of the study, but just to make the point here, the Moedim is related to the bride, is related to Israel, and this specific one is related to making atonement for the forgiveness of sin of Israel. Again, Israel is the one fulfilling this Moedim, and it's the one that is going to fulfill it in the future, because everything is a foreshadow of what is coming. So let's go back to the point. So we know and we have the clear instruction from Yahuwah about how to observe this Shabbat, this Moedim, Yom Kippurim. So we will do two analyses here. And again, we started in the second video of this study that the whole understanding that most of the Torah believers has nowadays, that the days started in Erev. What we are seeing here in the whole scriptures that we have been studying so far, that the days is starting in the morning and is ending in the evening. So let's put under test this understanding that the days is starting at Erev with the instruction we have about Yom Kippurim. So let's do the analysis. We have this understanding that day 8 on the 7th Chodesh, the 7th month, is started in Erev. We have then night, then Boker, the morning, then the portion of light, the day, and then we have Erev, that in this point the new day is starting. Okay, should be the day 9, the same pattern, day 10, day 11, and so on. So in this verse, in the 27, Yahuwah is telling us on the 10th day of the 7th Chodesh is Yom Kippurim. So basically, during this period we have Yom Kippurim. This is the 10th day, okay? And he's saying that during this day we don't have to work on the same day because it's a Shabbat of rest in order to make atonement. But here he's giving us another instruction how to observe this Moedim. He's saying that on the 9th day of the Chodesh at evening. So, and we need to observe it this Shabbat from evening to evening, started on the 9th day on the evening. So, with this understanding of the day starting at Erev, and trying to follow this instruction for Yom Kippurim, we know that Erev is starting here, in this understanding of the day. So we should be observing this Shabbat according to this instruction from evening of the night until the next evening. So it should be something like this, from evening to evening. So the point, if we do that, we should be celebrating Yom Kippurim in the day number 9, and not in the 10th day that is written over here. So something is wrong, something is not working, and we should be breaking entirely the Torah and the commandment of following and observing this Moedim by doing it with the day starting in evening. Okay, so this is totally wrong. So let's do exactly the same analysis with the new understanding that the day is starting in the morning and is finalizing in the evening. Okay, starting in Boker and finalizing in Erev. So we have the same pattern with the day starting at Boker. So we have all the days here, but with the new understanding, the day 8 is not starting at Erev, it's starting at Boker and finalizing at Erev. So basically it's the light portion. The same is the day 9, the same the day 10, and the day 11. So we have the instruction that Yom Kippurim is in the 10th day of the 7th Chodesh. So it's basically Yom Kippurim is on the 10th day, is in this part. The light portion, light time, is Yom Kippurim. And Yehovah is also telling us that we need to observe it from the 9th day in the evening, from evening to evening. So the evening of the 9th is this one. So we need to observe it from this evening to this evening, something like this. So if we do that, basically we will be observing Yom Kippurim exactly on the 10th day of the 7th Chodesh. Everything match, everything fits, everything is in harmony. And why Yahuwah is telling us that we need to observe it from the evening of the previous day? My understanding on this is that if we do that, we are securing ourselves that we are afflicting our beings by fasting, by praying, by doing different stuff the entire day. Okay? Because it could be that maybe we are gonna miss somehow, or we are not gonna do it in the proper time. So basically he's telling us doing it starting the evening before. So in that way you're gonna make sure that you are observing this Shabbat in his proper time. So again, with this analysis about Yom Kippurim, is quite clear to see again that, and confirm with the Torah and with maybe the 4th or the 5th witness, that the day is starting at Boker in the morning and finalizing in Erev in the evening. Okay? So let's check the second witness in this part. And this second witness is regarding another Moedim, and it's a very important one because we are approaching to this Moedim that is happening next week. So prepare yourself. You are doing the transition as I'm doing it to this new calendar, the calendar of Yahuwah. We need to prepare ourselves in order to celebrate Pesach in its appointed time. So we will review and we will do exactly the same analysis about Pesach and Hagamatzot, but we will do it with the first Pesach ever of Israel on Mizraim, and also the Hagamatzot during that period. Okay? So first we will read some passages I included over here because it's important for you to see it and see the phrases that I highlighted. So let's review it. So we will start with Shemot. This is Exodus, and we have the chapter 12 with all those different verses. You know, I just picked some of the specific verses in order to make it short for you. But again, you can read it for yourself entirely, the entire chapter. You will have the full understanding about the whole account of this. So let's read it, starting in the verse 6. It said, "And you shall keep it until the 14th day of the same Chodesh." It's talking about the lamb, okay? "Then all the assembly of the congregation of Israel shall slay it between the evening." So he's talking that the lamb has to be slain on the 14th day between the evenings. "And they shall eat the flesh on that night." So what night? The night that is following the 14th day. Okay? "Roasted in fire, with unleavened bread and with bitter herbs, they shall eat it." Verse 10 it says, "And do not leave of it until morning." This is critical to understand because they were eating the Pesach during the entire night and they had to eat it everything. They cannot leave anything until the morning. And what morning? The morning after that day, after that night, before the new day was beginning. It says, "And what remains of it until morning you are to burn with fire. And this is how you eat it: your loins girded, your sandals on your feet, and your staff in your hand." And listen to this, it says, "And you shall eat it in haste." They needed to eat it very fast, and that's why they were prepared with the staff in the hand, with the sandals in their feet, because something was going to happen. And it says, "It is the Pesach of Yahuwah, and I shall pass through the land of Mizraim on that night." What night? When they were eating the Pesach. "And shall strike all the firstborn in the land of Mizraim, both man and beast. And on all the mighty ones of Mizraim I shall execute judgment. I am Yahuwah." The verse 14 says the following, "And this day shall become to you a remembrance." What day? We will see it now. "And you shall celebrate it as a festival to Yahuwah through your generations." Celebrated as a festival, an everlasting law. So what is a festival? We know from the scriptures that there are 3 Moedims that are called Chag or Hagim festival, as they are unleavened bread, Chag HaMatzot, are Shavuot, and Sukkot. So he's talking about Chag HaMatzot, and he's talking about this day. This will be a remembrance, and we will see later why it's going to be a remembrance. And it says, this is the confirmation: 7 days in the 15th, 7 days you shall eat unleavened bread. Indeed, on the first day you cause leaven to cease from your houses. And keep attention on that when you're going to celebrate Pesach this year. We need to keep the leaven out of our houses in the first day, in the 15th of this Chodesh. "For whoever eats leavened bread from the first day until the 7th day, that being shall be cut off from Israel. And on the first day is a set-apart gathering, and on the 7th day you have a set-apart gathering. No work at all is done on them, only that which is eaten by every being, that alone is prepared by you. And you shall guard the festival of Matzot." And listen to this: "For on this same day I brought your division out of the land of Mizraim." When they went out of Mizraim, on the same day of Chag HaMatzot. "And you shall guard this day throughout your generation, an everlasting law." So we saw here, "And this day shall become to you a remembrance." It's going to be an everlasting law. And which day it is? Is the day they went out of Mizraim, is the day where the feast of Matzot, Chag HaMatzot, is starting. And it says the verse 29, and it came to be at midnight that Yahuwah struck all the firstborn in the land of Mizraim. When it happened at midnight, in the middle of the night, when they were eating the Pesach. The firstborn in the land of Mizraim, from the firstborn of Pharaoh, who sat on his throne, to the firstborn of the captive who was in the dungeon, and all the firstborn of the livestock. And Pharaoh rose up in the night, the same night, he and all his servants, and all the Mizrites, and there was a great cry in Mizraim, for there was not a house where there was not a dead one. Then Pharaoh, he called for Moshe and Aaron by night. So after he realized, Pharaoh, that what was going on, he called Moshe the same night and Aaron and said, "Go out from the midst of my people, both you and the children of Israel, and go serve Yahuwah as you have said." So what happened and why they were all of them prepared, eating Pesach in haste and with the sandals in their feet and the staff in their hand? Because that was supposed to happen. They were having the permission of Pharaoh to leave the land. So verse 32 says, "Take both your flocks and your herds, and you have as you have said, and go. Then you shall bless me too." And the Mizrites were strong on the people to hasten to send them away out of the land. You see, all of them were pushing Israel to get out. So for they said, "We are all dying." And listen to this in the verse 34. "And the people took their dough before it was leavened, having their kneading bowls bound out in their garments on their shoulder." Let's continue in the next slide. Verse 39 and 42 says, "And they baked unleavened cakes of the dough which they had brought out of Mizraim." Why they did that? "For it was not leavened, since they were driven out of Mizraim and had not been able to delay, nor had they prepared food for themselves." So the Egyptians, Israel, starting from the Pharaoh until the last servant, all of them were pushing Israel to get out of the land. So they didn't, and that happened during the night of Pesach. They didn't have the time to let the dough to leaven. So that's why they prepared unleavened bread, matzot. So it says in the 42, "It is a night of watches unto Yahuwah for bringing them out of the land of Mizraim. This is that night of watches unto Yahuwah for all the children of Israel throughout the generation." They didn't sleep at all during the night, because during that night they were washing, they were eating Pesach, they received the redemption from Yahuwah, they received the freedom from Yahuwah, and they were able to get out of Mizraim. And that's why it's a day of remembrance. So it's important to understand all this account, all of this event that happened during that night, during that day. Okay? We will see it visually later on, but keep in mind all that we have been discussing so far. So what other witness we have about the Pesach and Chag HaMatzot? What happened during that first Pesach and first Chag HaMatzot? We have in Bamidbar, Numbers 33, 2 and 4, and it says the following. "And Moshe wrote down the starting points of their departures at the mouth of Yahuwah." So basically Moshe, all of he wrote about the departures was what Yahuwah told him to write. "And these are their departures according to their starting points." And this is important to see. Now, verse 3. "So they departed from Ramses in the first Chodesh, the Chodesh of Aviv." Which day? On the 15th day of the first Chodesh, on the morrow of the Pesach. So, what's the morrow of the Pesach? Is we saw the instruction that they had to eat the entire lamb during the night, and they have to keep nothing until the morning. So that morning, when they need to get rid of all the lamb and burn it if they have something, that was the morrow of the Pesach. So in this account we see that Israel departed from Ramesses in the 15th day of the first Chodesh. Keep that in mind. So on the morrow of the Pesach, the children of Israel went out with boldness before the eyes of all the Mizrites, and the Mizrites were burying all the firstborn whom Yahuwah had stricken among them. Also on their mighty ones Yahuwah had executed judgments. So again, we have a second input here, a second key, a second clue when Israel went out of Egypt. And we have a third witness here. This is in Devarim, Deuteronomy chapter 16, verse 1 to 3, and it says, "Guard the new moon, the Chodesh of Aviv, and perform the Pesach to Yahuwah your Elohim. For in the Chodesh of Aviv," we know that new moon is a bad translation, is Chodesh, is month. "For in the Chodesh of Aviv, Yahuwah your Elohim brought you out of Mizraim." When? By night. And why by night? Because Pharaoh called Moshe and Aaron by night and sent them out of Mizraim. And all of them were pushing, all of the Mizrahites, all the Egyptian was pushing Israel during the night to get out. Okay? "And you shall slaughter the Pesach to Yahuwah your Elohim from the flock and the herd, in the place where Yahuwah chooses to put his name. Eat not leavened bread with it. For 7 days you eat unleavened bread with it, bread of affliction." And this is quite important, again, because of the renewed understanding of the Moedim. Why they are celebrating, or why we need to celebrate Pesach. Why Israel need to celebrate Pesach and Chag HaMatzot in this case. And it's written over here, "Because you came out of the land of Mizraim in haste, so that you remember the day in which you came out of the land of Mizraim all the days of your life." We are eating the bread of affliction, we are eating matzot, in order to remember that we came out of the land of Mizraim in haste. So Israel fulfilled this Moedim as well. So here it's important. They came out of Mizraim by night, and they came out again, other testimony in haste. So let's review the visual representation of this. And again, we will do the two analyses with the understanding of the day starting at Erev, and with the new understanding that we are learning now, that the days starting at morning and ending at evening. So let's start with the day starting at Erev. So we have the day 13, the day 14, and the day 15 starting in Erev and finalizing in Erev. So we know by the scriptures, we already checked that the Pesach lamb has to be sacrificed in the 14th day between the evenings. So with this understanding, that is that this is the evening of the 14th. So here is where the Pesach has to be sacrificed. We know that they were eating the Pesach during the night, and in the middle of the night, the firstborn of Egypt were die. And after that, during the same night, Pharaoh called Moshe and sent out the people. So he started to send all the people of Israel out. Okay? And we know from the scriptures that during that night, Israel leaves Mizraim. So here we have the first problem, because we see that the first day of Chag HaMatzot, the day of remembrance, is starting in the 15th. And also we saw in the account of Numbers 33 that they came out of Mizraim in the day 15, in the morning after the Pesach. So day 15 is starting here and was in the morning. But if we put here Israel living in Mizraim, considering all the chronology of events, they should be living, if we understand the day starting at evening, they were living in the day 14. So again, this is not synchronized and not in harmony on what is written in Numbers 33, that it says that they lived on the day 15. Okay? And in case, let's assume that Israel didn't live here, they left here and they left here. What they were doing here during this entire day and this entire night, when the scriptures are quite clear that they lived in haste. They were preparing, and all the Egyptians were pushing them in order to leave immediately their land. So it doesn't match, and it's not in harmony with what is written in the scriptures. So we see with this that this account and this understanding of day starting and evening, it doesn't match and it's not in harmony with the entire scripture and all the verses that we already reviewed. So let's do exactly the same analysis with the day starting at Boker. So again, we have the day 13 with the understanding of day starting at Boker, morning, and finalizing at Erev. We have the same for the day 14 and the day 15. And let's see. So the commandment says that we need to sacrifice the Pesach lamb on the evening of the 14th day, between the evenings. So we know with this understanding that the evening is after the light portion, after the day. So here's where the Pesach has to be sacrificed. And we know that the firstborn born of Egypt, of Mizraim, died on middle of the night when they were eating the Pesach, because they need to eat the Pesach, the lamb, during that night and before Boker, and they supposed not to have anything on the lamb until the morning, and if everything was left, they needed to burn it. So during that night they were eating the Pesach, and the firstborn of Mizraim died. And also after that, during the same night, Pharaoh called Moshe and Aaron, and he sent all the people of Israel out with the children, the women, and also all the flock and the herd. So we know from the scriptures that they left Israel in the morning after the Pesach, and this is the morning after the Pesach, okay? And in this day is the first day of Chag HaMatzot, the day of remembrance. So Israel started to departure exactly here, when the day 15 was starting. So again, with this understanding of when the day start and when end, is in complete harmony with the scriptures, it's in complete harmony with all the verses we have been seeing, it's in complete harmony with all the testimony we have been seeing so far. Okay? So again, this is a new evidence that is telling us that this is the real and the true understanding of what is a day according to the scriptures. Okay, next thing that is coming is the Shabbat day. We will not cover it now because we are 42 minutes now in this video. So, you know, this is the wonderful part of studying the scriptures, because if we let the scripture to interpret themselves, it's quite easy to not to be deceived, not to get into confusion, not to get to our own opinions or man's tradition. We are just following the instruction and the teaching of our Yahuwah and his son Yahushua or Mashiach, and you know, I feel this joy and peace, shalom in my heart, because you know, it's nothing that we can invent by ourselves. It's something that we are just finding in the scriptures, understanding this directly from the word of Yahuwah, and we know that the word of Yahuwah is the truth. So I hope that this part of the study was clear for you. Again, if it wasn't clear, just send me an email to light2everynation@gmail.com. If you have comments as well, please comment in the video or send me your comments in the email. But again, I think we are getting to understand the understanding of what is a day in a very clear way, and just reading the scriptures. That's the more beautiful part. So keep up the study, do the research for yourself. As the 119 ministries like to say, test everything. Don't believe what I'm saying and just receive my input. Research for yourself, and again, let the scriptures to talk by themselves. So next video we will review the Shabbat day. It's a very important one. So please try to digest everything that we have been seeing in all these videos so far, and meditate on everything that I'm telling you, I'm sharing with you. And the most important thing, Ask Yahuwah to guide you in all of this with His Ruach HaKodesh here in your heart. So thank you for watching the video. Shalom to all of you, and see you in the next one. Bye.